We had a microphone problem this morning earlier. It seems, are we okay? Let me know if you can hear it, because we had the microphone didn't seem to connect earlier this morning. I think it's okay. Jacques is here this morning. Oh, opening picture is always a printing picture. Okay, should I change that, I guess? Yeah, should I change that? Maybe. Good idea. Stuff just tends to sit there and get left alone. Sorry about that. Okay, back to Saturdays. Nay, it's been a while since I've been here on a Saturday. This is going to be the usual routine for the month of, for August. We probably don't have many people here today because I don't know about the change. For all of August, it'll be Mondays, Thursdays, Saturdays. And I can't wait to get back to Ome on Monday night. It's like I finally got a job that has weekends off or something. I've forgotten what that feels like. All right, let's get on with this thing. We're actually almost at the end of the calligraphy. Yeah. There are so many more jobs waiting now, carving jobs. Did we talk about this the other day on Thursday? That as soon as I do get this calligraphy finished, I have to jump over to another carving job right away, and that's going to be this year's gift print. I think we talked about this. Gift print that goes online on October the 10th every year, and I've got to get going on it soon. It's chosen. I know what to do this year. It's already decided. Although all the printers who I've talked to here, when I show them the plan, they go, "Oh my God, are you joking?" But it is going to be a killer this year, an absolute killer of a gift print. They're also asking me, "David, why choose something so popular when you know we're short-handed on the printing side?" And whatever, it's damn the torpedoes, you can't hold back. Because this is a Saturday, I'll be here by myself right through till 9:30. Cameron won't be here. He's off for the weekend, of course. He's been doing lots of work, too much work perhaps, on the video project that he's cooking up. Sometimes the bookkeeping, I think, is getting a little bit ignored. And I would do exactly the same thing if I was in his position. So it's okay. I know the bookkeeping yesterday didn't much matter if it was ignored, because we're now in a long weekend in Japan. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, the post office is closed. We can't ship. So if the orders don't actually get processed right away the same day, it doesn't matter. We can't ship till Tuesday morning. Jed's not here this morning. I was trying to chat with him a few minutes ago on Skype. He Skyped me just while I was getting ready for the stream here. Paper's out, yes, thank you. Paper's out for Suga-san. She's printing Fox Moon, and Rei-chan, she's printing the Snake print, which is an interesting coincidence today. Rei-chan is printing Snake, and Jed Skyped me this morning to tell me, the Snake print, his design, what's it called? I forget the name of it. I've totally forgotten the name of it. It's on Reddit this morning. He said it's trending on Reddit, the Reddit gaming subreddit. Jed, who's this stranger? Yeah, right. I had after Jed phoned me with that information, I had a quick look over there at the subreddit, at the thread about our work, and it's hilarious. It's really hilarious. There's somebody posts this, and some guy thinks, "Yeah, that's a great design by Dave Bull," and somebody else says, "No, Dave Bull has nothing to do with this. It's something carved by Jed Henry and whatever." And people out there are obviously totally, absolutely confused about who is who in this thing. Completely confused. Some guy steps in and tries to set them right. Somebody else contradicts him. did it. You want to pop in a link to that Serpent Strikes? Yeah. You should pop in a link to that Reddit thread. Here it is. Oh, the YouTube glitch. Do not talk to me about YouTube. I have no idea what's happening. No idea. Just to get this out of the way, I've got this graph. Wednesday morning, Wednesday around noon. You can see the graph here. We were running around 1,200 views per hour across all different videos. But looking below, remembering a carvery video is the number one, and all of a sudden you can see a cliff. It just drops off. This was around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Wednesday afternoon here in Japan. We dropped to about 1/10. Instead of 1,200 an hour, somewhere around 200 an hour. It went down in 2 stages. And we have no idea what's happening. And if you Google out there, loss of YouTube views or something, there's 2 things happening, it seems, at the moment. There's something wrong with the YouTube. There's Susan. Her paper is out. There's something wrong with their YouTube real-time analytics, but also there's been a change in the algorithm. And a lot of kid-friendly channels have been destroyed. And maybe our channel is coming in something underneath that. Yeah, you say, don't worry, it happened to everybody, but our channel now shows the normal peaks and valleys of a normal 24-hour day, but just at 10% of the level that it used to show. And over on the front page of YouTube, of our YouTube channel, the counts are all down. So I'm sweating bricks here, I'm sweating blood here. It looks like we may have been hit not by the analytics glitch, but we've been hit by the algorithm change. And if that's the case, this is life-changing. Down to 10% of our views, because people that come in the door here, everybody comes in because they've seen us on YouTube. So we are sweating blood right now to see what's going to happen here, if this is going to come back to life or not. It's been since Wednesday now, and there's no sign of any change. I should be panicking, running around the room here screaming. We've invested in the first floor, the rent is huge, we've got new staff, our business depends on that constant stream of people coming from social media. Insta is okay, Facebook is okay, they're okay, but YouTube is the dominant power in what brings people in the front door here. What the algorithm giveth, the algorithm taketh away. It was 2 years ago in 2017 in June that it really helped us. Video views boosted the reverse of what you just saw in that graph. It was wonderful. And for 2 years we've been enjoying that. And all the time we've been saying, oh my God, what happens when YouTube takes it away? What will we do? What will we do? There's nothing we can do about it. All you can do is just keep making the content. We can't control how the algorithm sees us at all. And we knew all the way along that it might disappear one day, and it looks like it's disappeared. It's sort of a double punch effect, because at the moment this summer our business is quite a bit lower than what it was last year. And last year we had the documentary effect. That documentary was playing in airplanes all over the world. KLM, Air France, Lufthansa, British Airways, all kinds of big airline companies, Delta, were playing that documentary about our work. And we had many people come in the door here because of that. That was last year, and we knew that was going to be short term. So that's gone, and now if YouTube power's gone, Well, we have no way to navigate or hack the algorithm change. We're just going to make the same content. We've never done search engine optimization stuff. All we can do is make our content. There's one thing we were thinking that might have had an effect is the first video of ours that YouTube really recommends to many, many people is that Remembering a Carver video that we did about ecosystem. Every time I ask people, how did you hear about us? They said, oh, YouTube recommended me this strange video about carving, blah, blah, blah. And then they go from there. So we've heard that time and time and time and time and time again. So that's okay, but it turns out now that that video is just now more than 1,000 days old. It's three years and some days old. And maybe part of the YouTube algorithm, at some point, I mean, YouTube is still very young, so I don't know how it's handling this yet. But at some point, if a video is too old, the YouTube algorithm is probably going to deprecate it because it's too old. You know, they're not going to start recommending videos that are 100 years old by the time we get to that point or whatever. So maybe that's their limit, anything over 3 years or something. So maybe it's possible that particular video on our channel has reached its sell-by date, and that's it. So there's no specific reason other than that. Our single top most recommended video is now too old according to the algorithm. And that maybe something that simple. The rest of our channel is okay, everything else is all right. But if that one's not being recommended, then people don't know about the rest. So there's many, many, many factors in play here. To take it down and upload it again with a new date, I don't know. Yes, and I've been reading about the analytics glitch, I understand. But even when you look at our view counts, I've been tracking. The first day I was thinking, okay, yeah, it's the analytics glitch, don't worry about it. But all of yesterday, every hour, I tracked it. I checked the views on the Ito-san video and the Cameron video, the one he made last week. I counted the views each hour and then compared it to the analytics. And the analytics is on. That low level of views showing in our analytics is actually a low level of views. So it looks like we've actually been part of an algorithm change. It's an open question. Yeah, we'll see. As the next few days go by and as that thing gets fixed, we'll see. And if that's the case and that we're really getting tons of views and they're not showing on the analytics page, I'm happy, but I don't think that's what's happening in our case. There's absolutely nothing we can do about it. When you get the gold from YouTube, you get it, and when you get the dross, you know, when you're cut, you're cut. Our business model is okay. All we can do is just keep going. I know we've talked about this before too, that we're trying to keep a multi-pronged business running here. We've got the shop and visitors, the print parties. And then we've got subscriptions, which is actually our main business model, is subscriptions. And then we have the online shop, which we've been ignoring quite a lot. So if it turns out that the shop here, the visitors from YouTube, start to decrease, then we simply have to get busy and work harder on the other parts. The online shop could be dramatically improved. We've ignored that for such a long time. So yeah, so no panic, just we have to get back to work and figure out what to do. Okay, I think that's another column done, I believe. Yeah, okay. Okay, let's clear off the last column here. This is sort of the last column, but then it splits into two, and then at the bottom here there's a whole patch of text from the young octopus. So we're not finished yet, but we are getting closer. Then I've got 2 or 3 spots back in the middle of it. I'll pick off right that character I couldn't read. And there's one more somewhere back at the front here. I can't remember. Couldn't read that one. And then this group, these two are really fat. I think I've got to trim those down a little bit. That's interesting. That's the borderline on the original book page. So this group was carved by one carver, and this group was carved by another carver. I think Mr. A and Mr. B, let's call it. Mr. B started, and he didn't get quite very light. He was carving a bit too on the heavy side when he started, and gradually got lightening up as he went along this way. And whether I should just leave it like this or not, I don't know. When you see the original book, you open the page this way, and you don't really notice the difference. But when I'm doing this as a single print all across, the difference in carving style between Mr. A and Mr. B is really quite dramatic. I don't know, we'll proof it and have a look at it after I finish carving that character. We'll proof it and then try and decide what to do. And my current guess, I think we talked about this before, my current guess, I'm going to leave it as it is. It's what it is, and I'm just going to make it part of the story. We'll talk about it, we'll explain why is this so different from this. And it's part of the story of the original print. It'll be interesting for people to understand that the 2 halves of the book page were carved by different people. Jed said, pitching some designs to Uniqlo. Okay, just to let you know, what Uniqlo thinks is a great design, and we see this in the shop here, not every day, that's an exaggeration. Every week, a few times, the famous Uniqlo Great Wave t-shirt. The image of Jed's that I'd like to see around, we can't do it as a woodblock print for reasons that are obvious, but the one that I'd like to see, which was really, really fun, Jed did a trial design for a tea company here years ago, a company publishing, a company making a kind of green tea. And they talked to Jed about doing an ad campaign. I think he got the ad pretty much finished and ready, and then it didn't happen for some reason, whatever. Either money reasons or just too many editing reasons, I don't remember. But it was a real cool image. It was a giant, giant picture. Is Jed still here? I guess so. Giant, giant picture. The point of the tea, they were trying to promote the tea as losing, it helps you lose weight or something. Probably totally unethical to do that. Drink our tea and you'll lose weight. But Jed picked up on that theme, and he put a container of the tea in the middle of a sumo arena. And of course, all the sumo wrestlers who do not really want to lose weight are scrambling to escape from it. And it was really good fun. 1,000 rikishi running away from a cup of tea. I think the idea, I don't quite remember, I think the idea, it was long and long and long and long and narrow. I think the idea was to do it on a bunch of side-by-side advertising panels in a train station. But I don't remember. If Jed's still here, he can maybe talk about it. I see my name and lights here. What's happening again? Can we figure out a way to increase our subscription capacity for 2020? Sure. Get a time machine. Go back in time 30 years. Pre-print the 2020 now. Jed, we're up to here with this year's series. We're way We are so far behind. Great Wave orders, I don't even know. Cameron's got a list. I don't even know. 500, 600, 700 people waiting Great Wave. This year's series, more than 100 people on the waiting list. Our David's Choice prints were out of stock, 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 out of stock. The Doi Hunger prints were out of stock, out of stock. We don't have any printers. How can we pre-print next year's series? Aimi-san, hopefully during this next year, will be back. Her baby is now, her baby was born in April 2018. So it's getting on for a year and a half old. So by the end of the year here, her baby will be nearly 2 years old. And at 2, they can get into a daycare center if she has the idea for doing that. So it's possible as of next spring, Ayumi-san will be back. It's possible. I'm trying not to think about it too much. If I think about it or count my chickens, it won't happen. Did that dog just pee on my camera? No idea. There is another solution that every now and then somebody in the shop here recommends, that once Dave has finished his octopus print here, he starts printing. I become a printer again. And that is actually another solution. I am a pretty efficient printer. I was. I'm sure I could pick it up again. And Dave just joins the printing crew. Who needs a manager? All the bookkeeping and stuff is Cameron's job. Carving is now handled by Chon-san and Kawasaki-san, carving for the subscription prints. Once this special item, this octopus thing, once this is out of the way, Dave could just become a printer. The reason I'm sort of not really practically thinking about that is because to be a printer, you have to be a full-time printer. You got to do it. Sit down at your bench at 8 o'clock in the morning, whatever, and stand up again in the evening. You can't do it a little bit, fool around a little bit, and stop and start and come back to it and do it again. You have to sit down at the bench and do the thing. And is that really possible for me? I know exactly what's going to happen. I would sit down there, start printing. Someone comes running up. Dave, do this. The phone rings. Dave, what do I do about this? I really don't think it's possible. Yeah, go back in time 30 years and prepare some more. Start training them. Make more babies or something 30 years ago, I don't know. Every printer in town now is booked. Even the bad ones, the good ones, the bad ones, everybody is booked. Okay, let's bring it down this far instead of going into this territory. Let's just call it the day there for this one. Usually printing robots, but back in the Meiji era, there was a lot of experiments with mechanical printing. Not just printing presses, but doing woodblock printing with mechanical help. It's called the Kikai Mokohanga. And they did the blocks as normal. They carved the normal set of blocks. And then the printing system, it was a question of a guy rubbed some pigment across it, put paper on, and pulled down this handle, ka-chunk, and lifted it up, take the paper out, and did it again. So they did lots of experiments with this. We got some of them. We don't have them in the shop because they're not good enough to sell. But there was a bunch of Kikai Mokohanga, half, wooden carved and half printed with the help of a press. None of this is bad news. It's all really, really good news. Jed's inspiration for the Ukiyo Heroes had a huge effect on this. It's not the only thing, because part of this is being driven by the inbound travel to Japan. The tourism to Japan is stunningly increased over the past few years. Japan has become more tourist-friendly, and as other countries like Malaysia and Indonesia and China and Korea and stuff, as they have become more easy access to Japan, the inbound travel has hugely increased, and many of the inbound tourists want to get a print, a woodblock print, because woodblock prints are still noted around the world as being something, for Japan. It's not just Jed, but it's hugely part of Jed and what we did with the Ukiyo Heroes has popularized woodblock printmaking again. And none of the publishers saw it coming. I mean, we didn't see it coming either. I was trying to train some people back in the early 2010s, but I wasn't succeeding at it. We didn't have any work for them to do, so I was just ready to lay everybody off. We were training 4 or 5 young girls at the time. I tried, but we just didn't have any work because we weren't smart enough to make interesting prints. And the combination Jed came along just at that time with his really interesting idea, combined with the training that we had been doing with our girls. And man, it just fit perfect. The microphone. Can you hear me now? You trying to reach the microphone, Dave knocks the computer off the table. Let's see how he gets. Scoop it up with my water bottle. What could possibly be the problem? That's my mic. Is it still active? Seems okay. Okay, is there an origin story of woodblock printing? I'm not quite sure what you're asking. I know it's a thing that goes back. I know woodblock work like this actually is in most cultures across the globe. They have their own variations of it. This is not one of those things that was started in Marco Polo, China, and went to the West or something. This was all over the world. Each culture has its own version of chopping shapes on wood, putting some kind of color on it, and pressing it to paper. Once they had paper in any given culture, woodblock printing soon seems to have been part of it. It's not, this ukiyo-e type work is not all that old in Japan. People are really surprised to hear that. Stuff like the origins of the ukiyo-e in Japan go back to the late 1600s, early 1700s. And that's already a couple hundred years after Gutenberg. The Japanese were not, they're not quick starters on this. They didn't invent this at all. Origin story. Okay, top right hand corner, top left hand corner of the print. Let's get going. The shop today is going to be busy. The last few days have been really crazy busy with print parties. And we've had full staff. It's been okay, but today we're short-staffed again because it's the weekend and because it's a long weekend. So not only are we short-staffed upstairs in the printer's room, but in the shop here we're short-staffed. And it's just me and Kawai-san. And we have 3 big print parties today. And one of them is a bit strange. It was booked while I was away in Ome the other day. And I would not have done the booking the same way. It's a Japanese person who is living in Spain. He is here for a print party today at 1 o'clock, and they're going to bring cameras, and they're actually making a documentary movie. And not about us. The movie's nothing to do with us. The movie is about cosplay, something to do with cosplay and Japanese culture and Spanish culture. I don't know the background of the story. But they want to do an episode of cosplay as related to traditional Japanese, blah, 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 ukiyo-e, blah, blah, blah. And their idea, I see in an email from him that came in yesterday, their idea is to film this episode of their documentary here during the course of a print party. So they're bringing their talent, the woman who's the star of the movie who does the whole thing, cosplay or something, some character. And she's going to be here to do the print party, and it's going to be an episode in their documentary. Well, the problem is, the print party, it's 1 hour, and we've got another print party scheduled just after this. These guys want to do like really movie making with lights and cameras and setup, and oops, try it again, nope, try it again, oops, nope, let's retake that. And there's no way we can do that in a normal print party during the day when there's another bunch of people coming in the next 60 minutes. And if I had known that this is what was going to be going on, I'd have told them, look, book us one night or something after the shop's closed. Let's do this. We can spend all night getting it right, you know. So I don't know, they're just going to show up here this afternoon at 1 o'clock with all this crap and all these people trying to make a movie. And I'm going to have to say, sorry guys, we can't do this right now because 70 minutes from now another group is coming in. So we may have to reschedule, I don't know. I can't get a hold of the guy. The only phone number he left was a Spanish phone number. I tried to phone it and it didn't connect. His phone number is Spain and he's here in Japan. And I guess there's no forwarding set up or something. So I don't know. We'll fly with it, we'll have fun with it, but I gotta keep in mind that there's another group of customers have booked another space and they've got to get priority for that. Cosplay in Spain documentary. Now, speaking of filming here, that reminds me too, NHK thing last week, they've let me know, the broadcast. It'll be broadcast on the last Monday in August, and it's going to be on the internet. It's NHK World, and the program is, what's the name of the program? It's Easy Business Japanese or something. Hang on a sec. I kept the link. Here we are. This is the program. We are partly featured. Here's a link to the website of the video on demand. And each program is live first, and then after the live broadcast, it goes into the video on demand page. Well, somebody else got it. Good. And we're no biggie. We're in there for about like 90 seconds to 2 minutes. The programs are 15 minutes long. It's about blah, 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 Japanese. And then during the course of the episode, the star of this episode is Frederick Main, a Frenchman, who's got a hobby of making woodblock prints. So I guess what they did, they asked him in his business blah, blah, blah conversation, what do you do on your time off? He says, oh, I love to go to a woodblock print shop. And he came over here. So they filmed here all afternoon or all morning, whatever it was. But they're going to use about 90 seconds of it. He's in the shop trying to say something about the prints, and then he did a print party or whatever. So. And it'll be broadcast live on Japan time on the last Monday in August, whatever that is. So if you go to the NHK World website, you'll be able to catch it. All these programs are broadcast like 5 times a day, 7 or 8 hours apart, blah, blah, blah. So you can see it all over the world. But it's no big deal for us. Like I said, no more than like 90 seconds or so. If that much. This one is not a program about us. And the young girl who was producing it or directing it or whatever, doing the filming and stuff, she said, I'm really, really sorry. I know, we're really, really sorry. She said, I'm really, really sorry, but we don't have any money. Like, whatever, I don't care, it doesn't matter. And then she must have joked. I said, well, we'll get a promotion value out of it. She says, well, no, I'm really, really sorry. This is NHK's education channel. And we're not allowed to show your company names. So, like, I don't care. It doesn't matter, But what was also really funny is when they were filming the program here, part of it was they have their cameras and mics, and then they've got their star, Frederick, from France. And he's been here a few months. He hasn't been here all that long. And NHK likes to use early visitors and early residents for these programs. They would never hire me for this kind of program. I've been here too long. They like to have the early starstruck people on this. So he stood here in the shop and the cameras were rolling and stuff like this. And she tried to poke him to say interesting stuff about this. And his Japanese is kind of rudimentary still. It's like mine was 30 years ago. And I sat here watching him try and think of things to say in for him it's his third language. He speaks French and English. And so he was really struggling. I don't say that to insult him. He's probably listening to this morning. But it was really, 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 really funny to watch him in the same position that I was, all those years ago. NHK used to ask me to do that stuff. I was on the NHK Evening News one day, live. And I'd only been here like 3 years. I could barely understand what they were saying. I couldn't speak. And they stick a microphone in my face and a camera, and you're on live news going to 70 million people. And nobody cares. But it was good fun to watch him in the same position. I have no idea what the episode's name is, so I'll just look for the star. Each episode features a different person. This is the one that features Frenchman Frederick. I don't know how to spell his last name. Maine, M-A-I-N-E, M-E-I-N-A, Maine, M-E-I-N something. I'm sorry, I really don't know how to spell his name. He's here, working in some kind of company involved in the IT world, as in, I think it's drone-related stuff. I'm not really sure. Autonomous flight, or whatever it is they call it. What's the technical name for people who are learning how to run drone software? Autonomous flight. That's his field in real life. And for fun, he's doing these NHK programs. Someone's asking about Neko Hake updates. What can I say? Applications have been pouring in. I have asked a bunch of people to move to stage 2. Not enough. I have to really get down to this next few days. I have to ask a bunch more people to move forward to stage 2. And then I think I've got to make another post about this, because I think I had originally postulated that it was going to be not a contest, it was going to be an event that was happening right through August, and it was going to wrap up and we would have all our designs chosen or something by the end of August. It's not working out that way, because honestly speaking, I haven't had all that many really, really good dynamite ideas. There's been a bunch, a couple of dozen that have made me say, oh yeah, we could maybe go with this one. But that's not enough. I need many, many more than that. And I need many, many more dynamite ideas. Oh my God, look at that, look how clever that is. And they're pretty thin and few on the ground. So I think what I might do is there's 8 prints in this series, and they're going to come out in a specific order. The first one's going to be Evening Snow. So what I might do is during the end of August, early September, is I might put my finger on one of the candidates for Evening Snow and say, okay, you're the guy, you're the man, we'll start production. And then reboot the thing, saying, okay, here we are, the first one is up and running, now I need ideas, really good, strong ideas for the next one, and the next one, the next one. And then rather than try and have all 8 ideas all selected by this August and this September, keep it as an ongoing thing over the year and a half that it's going to take to do production of the whole thing. It's going to take about 6 weeks to carve each one. So we could do it in stages then. I could announce the person for the first print, and then 6 weeks later announce the next one, and so on down the line. And I may have to do that, because I certainly don't have enough good entries yet for a full set of 8. We've got some stuff that's okay, some stuff that's interesting, but I don't have dynamite. Oh my God, I have got to use that one. So it's time for me to get busy and get the webpage updated and get another video updated or something, and not reboot it, but to keep people up to date with what's happening. I guess maybe make it more of an ongoing thing rather than a one-shot thing that was just going to happen during this summer. I don't think anybody will be disappointed about that. It just keeps it more available for people to jump in. And I have to be careful what to say, because it might sound like I'm insulting some of the people here who might have been sending pictures in, but over and over and over again, we get one type of picture that just does not do it for me. It's a picture that might be an interesting scene or something, and then they've plopped a cat in front looking at the scene. And I should have made it clear that this is not the kind of thing that will cut it. It's not a question of a rainy day with a cat watching a rainy day. It's not a question of sails returning to port and a cat just sitting there watching it. There has to be a reason for that cat to be there. And I really should have made that clear at the beginning. I guess I defaulted to assuming that that's what people would get this. But they haven't. A lot of people have just drawn a nice picture that happens to have a cat in it. And I've really got to make that more clear before I start asking for a lot more entries. Otherwise it'll just be the same thing again and again and again and again. And we haven't actually made any payments yet in stage 2. There are a bunch of people working on their stage 2 images. They've sent me better sketches or a key line or something like this, and I'm working on colors. But there are no actual completed stage 2 works yet. Humans on Mars, of course. Humans on Mars. So you can put your money on that. Actually, we're getting closer, you know. Come on, I've come all the way across this long print. This is now the last line of text. Come on, come on. Over the past few days, Cameron and I and Amazon, the helper here, we've been sort of chatting as we see each other during the day and at lunchtime and stuff. And, we've been trying to discuss this YouTube thing. What happens if this is really happening and YouTube has really cut us down? And what is our plan B? And as I said, there's no panic. We're okay. We're financially sort of stable. We have stuff going on. The three aspects of our business, the online shop, the physical shop, and subscriptions. So if it turns out that YouTube really has cut its way down, then we have to make sure we clean up our act on the other parts of it. One part of it is making the website more accessible. Okay, no problem, we can do that. So we've got our little list of things we can do. Jump into action and stuff with the YouTube plan B plan. Well, one more aspect that we were chatting about the other day, what else can we do to help keep our business in the public eye and move forward? And they were reiterating to me again, Dave, what you have to do is we have to get some social media or some presence within Japan, which we really don't have. At the moment, our YouTube channel and stuff like this is of most interest to people overseas. There's very little within Japan, so we've been ignoring it. So they're pushing me to try and do more YouTube stuff and social media, blog or whatever, in Japanese. And that's a tough one for me. I can chat with people in Japanese, I can give speeches, I can read basic stuff and this and that. But it's much more difficult for me to give presentations in a natural way in Japanese. That kind of story I did about remembering the carver, if I tried to do that in Japanese, it would just be stilted and I can speak Japanese, but I can't think in advance. When you're talking about, I was telling that story in English, so when I'm talking to you now, I'm talking to you, but inside your brain you're thinking about what to say next and what's going to come up next and stuff. This is my native language. But in my second language, I can't do that well. It's enough of a struggle to try and get your mouth to be making the right words and remembering the vocabulary. You can't get a good image of what's coming up. So I can't smoothly flow and stuff in Japanese. So, and this is probably not just me, but I am two different people, the native speaker Dave and the second language speaker Dave. And there's two things involved. One is that the native speaker is a smooth, natural, true person. The second speaker person is stilted and struggling person. But on top of that, there's the difference between the two languages. English really suits me in the way you say things and express things and blah, 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 blah. But Japanese, you're supposed to be more self-effacing, you're supposed to be quieter, you can't be direct, you can't waggle your finger and say something because it insults people. So the Japanese Dave, or the Japanese speaking Dave, is always repressed and shut down, just as a regular feature of the language. It happens the same with Cameron. Cameron's a quiet enough guy in English, but when he switches to Japanese, he's just so quiet and so self-effacing. It comes with the territory. So this is one reason why we don't have any good Japanese social media presence. And I've got to figure out a way to get around this. You can't just talk in Japanese the same way that you do in English, because it just doesn't work. I don't know, maybe anybody here who's got experience in other different language pairs. I don't know. Somebody who else is bilingual. Are you a different character? Are you a different person in your other language when you speak in your other language? I don't know. And we're missing a whole bunch of this stuff. I'm way missing some of this. Is the camera outside? Yes, the camera's just outside. It's just inside our property line. It's standing on the edge. The front of our shop is actually set back a little bit. The walls go to the property line, then is set back, and the actual door itself is about 2 meters inside. So the camera is outside in the open, looking down the street. Have some of the people been coming in? Maybe they watch it and see it, notice it there? I don't know. Pigments oxidizing or degrading. In the quick, easy answer, in the old era, Edo up to Meiji, it was mostly natural stuff like flowers and tree bark and roots and some minerals. And a lot of that stuff did oxidize heavily and did fade heavily. Starting in the late Meiji and going through to now, almost all this kind of printmaking is being done with mineral pigments, what they call iwa enogu in Japanese, or gangyo. And these do not oxidize so much. The prints we're making, we know people are going to want to hang these on the wall. So our prints they're not light fast. If you put it in the sunshine, 10 years later it's going to be a white piece of paper. So you can't put it in the open sun. But pretty much all 20th century prints here in Japan are made with a more modern, stronger pigments. And we have to tell people in the shop, when they bring a bunch of prints to the counter, if they're buying Edo era prints, we have to tell them, look, do not hang that up in your office. And sometimes people, oh really? And they take it back and put it away, because they had bought this with the express idea of hanging it up in their room or office. So we have to make sure people understand the two languages. I can't sit and read it all here, sorry. I'll read through this one at lunchtime. John Becker's arrived. Late. What time is it now? Just so I know. Okay, we've got a good 10 or 15 minutes left. This schedule, for the coming week, the schedule will be the same as this past week. I will be going to Ome Monday afternoon, and I'll be there all of Tuesday, and if the schedule permits, I'll be there all of Wednesday as well. So next week's streaming schedule will be Monday morning in Tokyo, Thursday morning in Tokyo, and Saturday morning again, the same stream you're watching right now. So it'll be Monday, Thursday, Saturday, which means for overseas viewers mostly Sunday night, Tuesday night, Friday night. And I really, really enjoyed my time in Ome last week, and I'm looking forward to getting out there again. I really shouldn't admit that. I want to get away from work. I don't know. I'm really looking forward to getting out there again. I've got a ton of things done. I had a great time, really relaxed, peaceful, lounged in the river, met my friends, the Kingfishers again. The problem, of course, is the food. There's nowhere out there to get food, anywhere. The nearest supermarket is, I don't even know where it is anymore, they're mostly closed. It'll be up at the station, I guess. There's a convenience store near the station. And that's a 20-25 minute walk from my house. So it's an hour's trip to go and buy some food on foot. There's no bus out there, that's all long gone. So when I went out there last week on Monday afternoon, I tried to stop and get some food, but to carry enough food from Monday evening, Tuesday morning, Tuesday noon, Tuesday evening, Wednesday morning, Wednesday noon. So that's trouble if I go out there again for 3 days, getting enough food. So what we're thinking of doing this time is before I leave on Monday, go to the supermarket here Monday morning and ship some stuff, just use the Takibin service. Ship some food out there so that it would arrive Tuesday morning. I can use that food Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. And they have a chilled pack deliveries, so I could get some actual real food, prepared meals or whatever. and using the chilled delivery service, send it out there Monday night, it'll arrive Tuesday morning chilled, throw it in the fridge, and good for Tuesday, Wednesday. So that might be the solution. And that's an indication of the town I live in out there, it's so heavily depopulated. All the shops in the area where I live, they're all closed. Now, what's this one? The bike, the bike I had is out there in Ome, and I didn't have time last week to fix it. It's under a sheet. When I abandoned Ome 5 years ago, I just left the bike. The bike sits outside, there's no room inside. And I threw a plastic sheet over top of it. And partway along that blew off, and I guess it was months before somebody put it back on. So I took a peek at the bike the other day. I was too busy fixing the electrical system problems. I had to do that. The next week's job is fixing the bike. I took a look at it last week, and I'll be taking some tools. When I go on Monday, I'm going to take some tools, a couple of wrench screwdrivers and some oil. And I will try and get the bike back into a running situation. But it's been abandoned for 5 years, half of that in the rain, and it's rusted like crazy. I might need to order a couple of tires for it. So on Tuesday, when I'm out there next week, I will be reworking the bike. Ask the ladies to make a bento. You've got to be joking. Food delivery, Uber, this is out in the country. There's no deliveries there. The taxi bin service delivers everywhere in the country, and the post office delivers everywhere in the country, but there's no other deliveries there. The link to the Reddit, I posted it earlier in the thread here today. It's Reddit Gaming. I think some staff should be showing up fairly soon. If they don't, I'm going to get nervous. We've got a busy day here today. Kawai-san's here. Up goes the shutter. Trip over the camera, I hope, whatever. Up goes the shutter, out goes the flag. Time's at 9:50. We got a bit to do, a few more minutes here. The room upstairs, all the staff leaves their bags and stuff and jackets and whatever upstairs in what is sort of Cameron's office space. That's become the staff space to leave their bags in. There's no room in the shop down here to keep those things. Some lights go on there. Do we have a show and tell today? No, I'm sorry, I don't. No, there is something I bought a couple of days ago that's showing up. The package is probably going to arrive in a few minutes. But I don't know. Those will be here. So no, I have no other show and tell. We had that little tea ceremony guidebook the other day. Since that, there's been a real dearth of stuff, Stuff is not coming up on the auctions as much as it's been. I think it's because it's the summertime. There's a general slump and stuff like that in the summer. I think when autumn arrives, there will be another real uptick, a chance for us to buy a lot of stuff. But at the moment, the summer, everything is sleepy and quiet. Business in the shop is sleepy, visitors are sleepy, online is sleepy. It's August, it's August. The only thing that's not sleeping is our printers. They are just non-stop. Kawai-san, you saw him just now, he's going to be here in the shop today. He doesn't want to be here. He wants to be upstairs printing, and he was yesterday. He wasn't on the shop rotation yesterday, and he spent the whole day upstairs printing. He's doing, what is he doing? He did a quick batch of share certificates. I'm late in sending out share certificates to patrons this month. He did a batch of those. And what else? What's he working on next? Portraits print. I'm one of the back number portraits prints. There's been a ton of orders for portraits prints after those last two videos went up. The video of Susan making the tea fields print, and then me with the silly print with the green screen chroma key. And after those two videos went out, there's a ton of orders for the portraits prints.小林さん、昨日すりました？
いや、昨日来てないです、僕。
じゃあ紙を出して話？
菅さんに頼みました。
そう、good。昨日の夜考えた。川内さんの紙出したんですか？姿見てないですが。
大丈夫です。ちょっと体調悪くて。
よかった。いや、心配は紙をずっと。
大丈夫です。それは僕も覚えてます。
よかった。冷蔵庫の隣に、部屋はすごい暑いです。
もうすぐ、菅さん来るぐらいのタイミングで。
Good. 今日は忙しくなりますよ。でも特別なパーティーです。普通のパーティーじゃない。1時のパーティーは撮影ですが、2時半のパーティーもあるからどうになるかわからないです。コスプレの専門パーティーです。コスプレ専用する体験。後で説明しますが。
僕は想像の超えたやつ。
いや、私たちはコスプレしなくてもいいよ。客がコスプレです。Where are we here, Ari? What's the name of the lady in water print we did a walkthrough of a while back? What are you talking about? You mean the 3-hour video we made? It's in our shop now. It's called At the Hot Spring. It's in our catalog, At the Hot Spring. We originally called it Young Girl in Bath. We had to change that because of the fear of looking like child porn and stuff. That was a legitimate mistake on my part. It's now called At the Hot Spring. Okay, I think I better get ready. It's 9:21. Activities happening here. We've got to get this place up and running. It's going to be busy, busy, busy print parties. Do you drink sake? No, I don't. I'm sorry. No, I'm not a no. I drink mostly beer and stuff like that. Not enough. Okay, let me get out of here. It's going to be a very, very busy day for me here. The next stream will be scheduled stream Monday morning. Thanks very much. It'll be a normal stream. Cameron will be here. I will be working, of course, on the continuation, just right exactly where you see me leaving off, because there's no way I'll have a time to touch this over the next couple of days at all. Very, very busy weekend coming up. Thanks for watching. I missed a bunch of stream. I'll try and catch it at lunchtime while I'm nibbling on my salad. Give it a chance. See you then. Thank you very much, guys. See you on Monday morning. Sunday night, Monday morning. Where are we here? Oops, wrong button. Ooh, I don't want to see that. Okay, bye for now. See you next week.